Yorùbá ló kàn. Tá a bá dẹ̀ sá Yorùbá náà, èmi ló kàn.
After a hard-fought election, Bola Tinubu fulfilled his lifelong ambition by becoming Nigeria's fifth president in the Fourth Republic. He clinched victory with 8,794,726 votes.
I, Bola Ahmed Tinubu,
ushering in a new era for the nation. On May 29, 2023, Tinubu took the oath of office, promising change and progress for Nigeria. His first year in office began with bold moves, including the removal of the fuel subsidy. It set the stage for a turbulent start to his presidency.
Economy is going through a tough patch, and you are being hurt by it, I know. The cost of fuel has gone up. Food and other prices have followed it. Households and businesses struggling. Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not.
On May 30, the new president met with the heads of state-owned oil company and the CBN governor for an economic briefing. The following day, Tinubu engaged in discussions with a Chinese delegation, laying the groundwork for increased economic cooperation. Tinubu's first month in office saw a strong emphasis on security and governance. At the start of June, he convened a security meeting, warning against uncoordinated effort in tackling security challenges. He then made his first appointments, including his chief of staff and secretary to the government of the Federation, signaling the direction of his administration. On June 13, he fulfilled the campaign vow, signing the student loan bill into law, aimed at providing interest-free loans for underprivileged Nigerians pursuing higher education amid a cost of living crisis. Ultimately, the bill was revised a number of times before being formally ratified in April. Later that month, he inaugurated the National Economic Council. The pace of change was a sign of things to come. Within weeks, Tinubu replaced all the security chiefs. On June 20, the president made his first official trip abroad, visiting France and then on to London for what his handlers termed a short private visit. The following month saw Tinubu's leadership recognized regionally as he was elected the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States. His international engagements with leaders, including the US President, the United Nations Secretary General, and Britain's King Charles, further solidified Nigeria's position on the world stage.
We are taking our sovereignty and respect back around the world.
Back home, Tinubu made key appointments, including Jim Obaze as a special CBN investigator in July. But the president barely scraped through the constitutional requirement to name ministerial nominees within 60 days of inauguration, and even then, he sent in only a first batch of 28 names. In August, he inaugurated his 48-member cabinet, including 9 former state governors, drawing criticisms for delays and the pedigree of appointees. On the diplomatic front, Tinubu made his debut appearance at the 78th United Nations General Assembly in New York on September 19th. He delivered Nigeria's official statement, highlighting the country's priorities and concerns. In October, President Tinubu marked Nigeria's 63rd independence anniversary with the national broadcast and ceremony at the presidential villa. He approved the provisional wage of 35,000 naira for 6 months to cushion the effect of subsidy removal on workers as the cost of living crisis really began to bite. The Supreme Court's affirmation of Tinubu's electoral victory came on October 26, further solidifying his mandate and paving the way for his administration to continue its work without legal challenges.
I've started from day one to work hard, regardless of, the court cases, okay? And just strengthen my resolve to do more.
As the year progressed, Tinubu presented his inaugural budgets to the National Assembly on November 29. He then departed for Dubai to attend COP28, demonstrating Nigeria's commitment to addressing climate change. In the same month, Tinubu signed the Health Sector Renewal Compact and approved the upgrade of key medical infrastructure across Nigeria. He also inaugurated the board of the NNPC Limited. Tinubu vows to uphold press freedom when he met with the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria on December 18. The subsidy removal and the currency liberalization are the most consequential of President Tinubu's policy actions so far, but others have also been impactful to varying degrees.
It is in the nature of developmental programming that everything that you do will not be felt by everybody at the same time. So let's just be practical. You're constructing the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Someone in Kano may not appreciate immediately what the impact of the Lagos-Calabar Highway is going to mean for the people in Kano, for example. But as we are constructing to completion the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano superhighway, for example, the people in Kano can attest to the impact of that, whereas someone in Port Harcourt will not be able to appreciate the impact of that highway because it's simply not a direct impact. That's the nature of development programming. But I think what we are focused on is making sure that what is done is thoroughly communicated, not just communicated in the form of some sort of audio propaganda, but communicated in a way where people can see what we're doing. There is clarity, they can watch and see what we're doing. I think anybody who is monitoring, for example, the Lagos to Calabar superhighway at the moment would recognize the bevy of drone shots and media presence along that corridor, capturing the video almost on a daily basis and putting it on the social media and traditional media and the like. This is what we believe development reporting should look like, and we should give kudos also to the Nigerian media, including news stations like Arise, who are putting out this content and ensuring that Nigerians know what is happening around them, whether it's always in the interest of the government's image or not, frankly. Nigerians deserve to have full disclosure.
The 36-year-old presidential spokesperson, appointed on July 31, 2023, acknowledges the challenges in achieving widespread and simultaneous impact from developmental projects, but highlights the administration's direct impact initiatives so far.
When we begin to talk about MSME interventions, and we can attest with our chest out that through the Presidential Conditional Grant Scheme, for example, where we have 50 billion naira that is being given in the form of grant, not loans. This money will not have to be paid back to Nigerian MSMEs. These are nano businesses, not even MSMEs, nano businesses specifically, micro businesses specifically. 50,000 naira grants per nano business. We are giving it out in tranches of to 1,290 nano businesses per local government area. So there is equity in this. We are ensuring that there's balance of spread in this. Every local government area in the country, all 774, will have at least 1,290, making up the 1 million nano businesses impacted. These are real lives, real businesses, real families that are being impacted by the support. In addition to that, we also have 150 billion that's been set aside. 75 billion for what we call the MSME loan program, which is a set of single-digit interest rate loans being handed out over a moratorium, over a repayment period of 3 years. And those loans range from anywhere between 50,000 naira to 1 million naira per borrower. That's going to be important for MSMEs, again, equitably distributed across all local government areas of the Federation. These are digital transfers. These are not cash payments. They are not being met by middlemen who are diverting them. This is all based on digitization, on BVNs, on account numbers and NIN numbers, and everything being unified to ensure that these are getting to the right places. So aside from MSME intervention, aside from consumer credit, aside from the student loan program, the president is going to continue to be focused on ensuring that he creates the environment for new investments to come in, because ultimately that's where the massive new jobs are going to be created.
The Renewed Hope agenda aims to transform Nigeria's electricity sector through a multi-pronged approach. Can we speak to that specifically? I mean, you've talked about infrastructure the MSMEs, the economy in general, but how about electricity?
We're looking at a real full implementation of the power performance agreement with Siemens in a way that was not necessarily well executed under the authorities that were present in the power sector before Mr. President took office. The Siemens program is really just complementary as we deal with, quality and quantity of power output available to homes and businesses through the traditional power transmission grid. But the entire scope of power intervention is not traditional. We know that we have, through the Rural Electrification Agency, for example, Mr. President is implementing the DARES program, that is the distributed access through Renewable Energy Systems program that essentially is putting in place for over 125,000 MSMEs across the country new solar power systems to ensure that they can have access to 24 hours of electrification in all states of the Federation that's focused on MSMEs. But separate from that, we are also putting in place over 1 million solar home systems for individual rural dwellings across the entire Federation, all states, all local government areas affected and covered by that. The President's focused on, over the course of the next 3 years, directly impacting 17.5 million Nigerians through access to solar home systems and solar power plants within MSMEs across the length and breadth of our country.
One of the defining features of Tinubu's first year has been his willingness to directly intervene in state political disputes. That includes in Ondo State and Rivers, raising concerns over state autonomy. But his administration has also faced accusations of propaganda over real investments, including announcing a $600 million investment from ship giant Maersk, which the Danish firm seemed unaware of.
There is no such thing as a perfect job, and there's no such thing as a perfect conduct of any job. As humans, there will be down moments, there will be great moments of victory and achievement. But our work is to find consistency. What is key is that where you are working with with a lot of different actors, you will sometimes get information from very high-ranking authorities that can prove either inaccurate or just wrong, not because they want to give you wrong information, but simply because it is a mishap. And because you are on the end line of that process, because you are the interface with the public, whatever mistake is made by any individual who gives that information, no matter how authoritative, you have to take responsibility for that mishap. And I'm someone who believes that irrespective of situations like that, which have happened once or twice during my time here, that honor demands that you don't mention names and you do take responsibility for whatever comes out of your office. And that's something that I'm quite proud of, that during my time, a state house released a statement owning and taking full accountability for the release of information that did not prove to be 100% accurate. I believe that that is not something that has a precedent in the history of the State House. And so in as much as you want to avoid mistakes, I believe in accountability. I believe in integrity. I believe if you get it wrong, you should own up to it. And that's what we have done. Of course, when I allude to high-ranking officials, I make no reference to His Excellency, Mr. President. He's never been a part of anything that has ever gone wrong with respect to messaging or communications or anything along that line.
Tinubu started 2024 grappling with socio-economic challenges. He signed his first budget of 28.7 trillion naira on January 1 and suspending a minister because of corruption allegations in the first week of the year. Despite his bloated cabinet and appointments,
your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate we shall stand.
In 2024, Tinubu sought to implement austerity measures by temporarily halting official travel for civil servants and others in government. In the second month of the year, The president also directed the partial implementation of the 12-year-old Oronsari report.
So in a very bold move, today, this administration under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, consistent again with his courage to take very far-reaching decisions in the interest of Nigeria, has taken a decision to implement the so-called Oronsari report.
It's important for us to appreciate the bold approval granted by Mr. President at the Federal Executive Council. This has been a recommendation that has been, I think, in the Nigerian discourse from 2012. We're here in 2024 and it's so been approved, and the aspects that are applicable to mergers, as I said, subsuming and scrapping and relocation of agencies are those that have been so considered, arising from the totality of the panel report.
But one trend was repeated: the president's unexplained disappearances after official trips abroad. In his first year in office, President Tinubu did deliver on some of his campaign promises.
There's no doubt that it was a necessary action for my country not to go bankrupt.
He removed the fuel subsidy, though that remains controversial. There was an increase in youth and female representation in government. The student loan bill became law, and there was the attempt to unify the exchange rate, one that is still facing hurdles. Despite those achievements, Tinubu's presidency has faced criticism for his handling of insecurity, the food crisis, and governance costs. Tinubu has also been accused of silence on key issues like restructuring. His occasional absences from the public eye also raise questions, adding to the challenges of his first year in office. With 1 year down, the clock is ticking for the president and his team to check off more big-ticket items on their to-do lists. Adesua Omoran, Arise News.